Chandamama Mahabharata, Part 9. The coronation of the king of Anga. To engage in a duel with Arjuna, you must also be a king, said Kripacharya. Observing this statement, and noticing Karna's hesitation to reveal the names of his parents, Duryodhan addressed Kripacharya as follows. The scriptures state that those born in noble Kshatriya lineages, great heroes, and those possessing large armies can be called kings. However, if the only objection to Karna engaging in a duel with Arjuna is that he is not a king, then I shall crown him king of the Anga kingdom this very moment. As Duryodhan commanded, priests well-versed in mantras arrived. A golden throne appeared. Water arrived in golden kalshas. Sacred flowers and rice arrived. Duryodhan seated Karna on the throne and crowned him as king. As soon as this ritual concluded, Karna said to Duryodhan, O Maharaja, what return favor shall I perform for having received the gift of a kingdom from you? I desire the friendship of a powerful warrior like you, replied Duryodhan. Observing all this, Karna's foster father, the Suta, descended from the chariot he was driving and congratulated Karna, the king of Anga. Karna bowed to the Suta with the devotion of a son. The Suta lifted Karna and embraced him. Both shed tears of joy. The fact that Karna was the son of a Suta was revealed. Bhima said to Karna, O son of a Suta, you speak of dueling with Arjuna instead of driving chariots. Is this proper in any way? What is this throne of Anga to you anyway? Karna was infuriated, but unable to say anything. He remained staring at the sun in the sky, hissing like a serpent in anger. Duryodhan, who was sitting among his brothers, said to Bhima, Bhimsena, your words are not appropriate. One who is a king must be ready to fight anyone who possesses strength. The same applies to Arjuna. No one can tell the origin of heroes or the origin of rivers. This Karna, who possesses divine characteristics and natural armor and earrings, is not an ordinary man. He is a hero capable of ruling not just the kingdom of Anga, but the entire earth. If my coronation of him as the king of Anga is not acceptable to anyone, they may engage in a duel with me to decide victory or defeat. At these words, all the spectators raised a great clamor. Before any duel could take place, the sun set. Complimenting Arjuna, Karna, or Duryodhan, everyone returned to their respective homes. For Duryodhan, however, that day was a festival. Until that day, Arjuna had felt like a spear in his side. From this day, Duryodhan's fear of Arjuna vanished. He slept peacefully with his hand on his heart. Some time passed. One morning, Drona summoned all his disciples and asked, Give me my teacher's fee. The disciples bowed to him and asked, What is your command? The foolish Drupad is behaving arrogantly due to the pride of wealth. Capture him and bring him here, said Drona. To fulfill the teacher's command, all the princes prepared themselves. They readied their chariots, they wore armor, they took up swords, bows, and arrows, completing preparations to go to war against Drupad. They all set out following Drona. When Panchalapuram was within sight, Arjuna said to Drona, Not a single one among these can bring Drupad. We Pandavas will remain here until they return in failure, and after that, we will capture and bring Drupad. Drupad learned that Duryodhan's group, accompanied by Karna, had entered the royal precincts and were walking on the main road boasting that they would capture Drupad. He immediately set out for battle with them, accompanied by his armies and brothers. The Kauravas and Karna fought arrogantly for some time, but unable to withstand the force of Drupad and the surge of Drupad's armies, they narrowly escaped with their lives and fled to where the Pandavas were stationed. Then Arjuna prostrated to Drona, obtained permission from Dharmaraja, and set out to capture Drupad, keeping Bhima as the leader of his army and Nakula and Sahadev as the protectors of his chariot wheels. Bhima and Arjuna fell upon Drupad's army and created total chaos. Arjuna fought terrifyingly and directed his chariot toward Drupad's chariot. Drupad attacked Arjuna fiercely with indignation. At one point, Drupad could no longer be seen, and his army raised a great outcry. Arjuna destroyed Drupad's chariot and horses, drew his sword, leaped onto the yoke of Drupad's chariot, and captured Drupad. Meanwhile, he noticed Bhima, Nakula, and Sahadev slaughtering Drupad's fleeing armies. Arjuna shouted loudly and warned them, Drupad is caught. The task for which we came is completed. This man is our relative. Do not unnecessarily kill Drupad's army. Afterward, Arjuna brought Drupad bound and presented him to Drona as the teacher's fee. Drona looked at Drupad and said, O king of Panchala, now your city of Kampilya is in our hands. Will you at least now recognize me as your childhood friend? Do not be afraid, I am a very peaceful person. I have not forgotten our childhood friendship. I had you brought here only for the sake of your friendship. I like the friendship of those who rule kingdoms very much. But now you have no kingdom. I am a Brahman. For the sake of friendship, I give you half the kingdom, take it. All that lies south of the Ganges is your kingdom. That which lies to the north is my kingdom. Let us both rule our kingdoms happily. Drupad agreed to permanent friendship with Drona. Drona had his bonds released and let him go. From then on, Drupad continued to be the king only of South Panchala. Makandi and Kampilya were his capitals. Drupad realized that defeating Drona through military strength was impossible for him. Furthermore, his desire for children was not fulfilled. For these two reasons, he began wandering the country, seeking refuge with sages who had performed great penance. Drona ruled North Panchala with Ahichatra as his capital. A year passed. Dhritarashtra decided to consecrate Dharmaraja as the crown prince. Dharmaraja possessed courage and patience. He was not of a crooked nature, he cared for his servants. As crown prince, Dharmaraja proved himself capable in the administration of the kingdom. Everyone praised him as being even better than King Pandu. Bhima became a disciple of Balram and gained proficiency in make fighting and sword fighting. Arjuna practiced holding the bow firmly, ensuring he would not release it no matter how much injury his hand sustained. One of the aspects Drona liked was that Arjuna could shoot arrows with great speed and lightness. He possessed great skill in the use of all kinds of weapons. No matter how great the people who come to war with you, do not refrain out of respect, perform battle as a duty, Drona advised Arjuna. Arjuna became the recipient of Drona's affection and killed King Vimla of Sauvira and Dattamitra and his brother, who were enemies of the Kaurva kingdom and had not even submitted to his father. He set out alone on a chariot and conquered 10,000 kings of the eastern countries all at once. He made many more surrounding kings subordinates to the Kaurva kingdom and collected endless masses of wealth from them as tribute and gifts, delivering them to Hastinapura. Nakula and Sahadev also conquered many kings who were enemies of the Kaurva kingdom and filled the treasury by bringing endless wealth. Dhritarashtra could not tolerate seeing the fame of the Pandavas spreading in 4 directions in this manner. He could not decide whether to let them rise further or to suppress them, so he asked for advice from an old Brahman minister named Kanika. Kanika said there is nothing wrong if enemies are eliminated by any deceitful means. Like Dhritarashtra, Duryodhan also deliberated with Karna, Shakuni and Dushasana and reached the decision to eliminate the Pandavas. When he told his father told him to do so. A plan was prepared to send the Pandavas to the city of Varnavta, that is Kashi, and burn them there in a house of lac. Following the command of Dhritarashtra, his ministers came to the Pandavas one by one and began describing how beautiful the city of Varnavta is. They encouraged them to see the city at least once. Later, Dhritarashtra himself said to the Pandavas, "Dear ones, everyone says that 1,000 eyes are not enough to see the city of Varnavta. Soon, a festival for Lord Shiva is also going to be held there. If you wish, you may go there with your mother, spend some time there happily, and then return to Hastinapura." Dharmaraja realized that this was banishment and did not show much joy at Dhritarashtra's words. Meanwhile, Duryodhan took a craftsman named Purochana aside and said to him, "My father is sending the Pandavas to the city of Varnavta. You go ahead on a chariot and beautifully construct a house with materials such as lac, which will burn like a torch if set on fire. Arrange all the provisions inside so that anyone who sees it will say it is very good." After the Pandavas have stayed in that house for a few days without any suspicion, set fire to the house in the middle of the night while they are asleep and come away. If they burn and die in it, I will be at peace. You will see how much favor I will do for you after I become king. Purochana agreed to this. For him, Duryodhan readied a chariot harnessed with fast horses and sent him to the city of Varnavta on it. As soon as Purochana reached there, he became diligently immersed in his work. Chandamama Mahabharata, Part 9 is complete. For now, Swasti.